And plebs, welcome to a live duel commentary, something I haven't done in a while, but this has been in the making for a while, and you know, I got the new layout, and hopefully this will be a pretty quality experience for you guys. But yeah, so jumping straight in, we've got Synchro Fusionist on the left, starting up with a Terror top, getting that Triad dice, normal summoning the dice, making Tatsunoko. Tatsunoko fusing with the Fusionist in the hand. Fusionist lets you get a fusion card from your deck. That includes Brilliant, that includes Refusion and Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion in this case with Norden. Norden comes out with the Triad dice there, summoning out Axel Synchron, and Axel sends Jet from the deck to the graveyard. So he's got, well, that's one tuner access now on the graveyard, and he's got a tuner on the field as level 4 or 6. I'm actually not sure what it is currently. But yeah, so 1 for 1 is activated here. That brings out Level Leader, and he discards Glow Up Bulb as well. So now you've got 2 tuners in the graveyard. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with this deck, you're probably like not really familiar. I mean, like a lot of people like don't really know this deck. It's not very popular. It's really hard to play. It's like, it does have consistency issues, but basically the best, like the way to win with this deck is just have as much tuner access as you can, and always being able to just have that tuner access. Synchros, of course, are not very economically, viable deck because of the reasons that come behind, like tuners and non-tuners, compared to something as simple as an overlay. But this deck has managed to find its way, and it's here, and it's doing its thing. We've got Refusion being used again, the Fusionist being used again, and that gets out Refusion, and I think he searched out a Brilliant Fusion as well. We have a lot of draw power here, so there's like Stardust Charge, which draws a card, Librarian draws a card every time you synchro, so that's 2 draws, Formula equals 2 draws, and yeah. So you basically build up all your advantage while making all these little cards, being able to draw into your power pieces, like here for example, E-Tele, being able to draw into other cards like Desynchro, which help you go into multiple Trish and stuff like that. That's a proxied Ghost Ogre on the field, by the way, sorry. We've got everything, just there's one Ghost Ogre was missing, so apologies for that. The Ghost Ogre synchros with Norden and Level Leader. So now we had that first card out the hand there, the Omega, banishes the Pan out the hand. Pan, of course, is a very good card you want to hit, even if like you can't hit everything with this deck. Like generally, like if you got the hand loop going, you definitely got the hand loop with this hand. As you can see, there's a lot of tuner access. There's Brilliant Fusion being activated, like Synchro Fusion is resolved like 3 times. They've definitely got the hand loop here. But even if you like have a hand with Synchro Fusionist, and I've been playing it a lot recently and trying it out myself, even if you don't like loop all 5 cards, it's very hard for some decks to play on just simply 3 cards, 2 or 3 cards. It's it's still pretty tough, right? But that's not going to be an issue here. We have everything being synced away, and Omega 3 times. We have 3 cards at the hand now, and of course with a big Soul Charge, drawn off the Librarian, because you just dig so fast and hard into your deck here with this build. There's so many different like techs and stuff. I believe he's running Left Arm Offering as well. So you're going to draw into that Soul Charge regardless of what happens, and obviously banishing your entire hand doesn't mean anything, because your opponent has 1 card like to play with. It doesn't matter. The advantage is irrelevant at that point. Even though you can have potentially 15 cards in your hand or whatever, it's like it's not really a big deal. Anyway, so Trish comes out, gets desynchroed, summons itself again, and yeah, we've got a lot of cards. So he top decks Red Lair, summons Red Lair, passes with Red Lair, and gets attacked over. Yeah. So that was game 1. Very, very convincing. It's I'm glad I managed to get that game 1 done, especially because the deck can just fall short and break a lot of the time. But it was really good to have that particular game there, because it was able to showcase the full extent of the deck, which I was happy to show there. Especially with the interesting tech there of the speed droids. I have seen a lot of Synchro Fusionist builds over the last few days, because I've been obviously trying to build something up for myself. And I haven't actually seen a lot of them play speed droids, if any, at all. But anyway, the Monarch player here starts off strong. Well, not really that strong, but you know, he's got Clear Wing and an Ocubeam. Hard summoned Ocubeam. Yeah, he doesn't have a hand at this point, so he can't even Aether. He didn't actually draw any Monarch cards. That's the issue. He didn't draw any. Yeah, so I think that's a set return as well. So he's not really able to do anything. Upstart comes down into the Brilliant Fusion, into Seraphina, into Trick Clown, and you know, we have the 2 normal summons here. So the Synchro Fusionist struggles a lot going second, a lot. But we have here, you know, this deck is, you know, it's going off right now, and you know, it's able to play, and any form of disruption will usually hurt the deck a lot. But it can play through like one disruption, perhaps. Something like a Veiler you can probably play through. A Crystal Wing you can probably play through. It's just being able to like make sure that you have a follow-up for the disruptions. Like a lot of the time you can literally just be like, you know, just go straight to game 3, because you know, the idea of the deck is to loop your hand. Looping your hand doesn't mean anything if you are going second. So there's interesting ways to side deck with this deck. For example, you can side into Black Roses and Scrap Dragons and stuff like that to clear your opponent's field, you know, take out things like maybe like 1 or 2 Omega, since you're not really going to be looping hands at that point, since your opponents established their field. But yeah, we're still going off here. Tatsunoku, Seraphini, and Axel on field. I'm not sure what level Axel is currently. I'm really sorry, I couldn't tell you. Level Leader coming out, making Seraphini level 4. That's 1 and... okay, yeah, so the Axel went down to 4. So that made Hyper Librarian. We have Ancient Fairy, draw a card off the Librarian. Instant Fusion for Norden. Choosing... maybe Fusionist would be a good target here. Oh wait, no, actually that's wrong. He needs tuner access, so he has to get that Synchron Resonator. And he level eats the Fairy down, draws 2 more cards. And post-siding, it's very dangerous if you're just going to let these Librarians keep resolving, because, you know, post-siding, a lot of Synchro Fusionist players will put in things like Twin Twisters and Kaijus. Kaijus particularly, you know, are dangerous cards. Raigeki could be potentially sided in as well. So, like, you're on a bit of a risk here, just letting them draw. You don't want to like have that Crystal Wing just like blown out by like something, but in the end, like, you are faced with a tough situation, because obviously you can't negate the Librarian with Crystal Wing. You know, so you know, it could be an idea to stop something like a Norden activating, for example, so he's blocked off from tuner access potentially. Obviously, you know, when you're drawing so many cards, you have to be worried about, you know, does he have a potential E-Tele or Soul Charge or Left Arm in hand that lets him continue regardless of being cut off from tuner access. A lot of tough decisions to make when you're playing as a Synchro Fusionist deck, because you don't know, like, at any point it can just like explode in a different direction, because there's like so many decision trees, and yeah. So at this stage, like, this is obviously just a friendly, and I don't think any siding was actually done, but we have the Synchro, we have the clear Crystal Wing of the Monarch player, and I can't remember exactly what it negated. He was probably trying to cut off that tuner access at some point, but yeah, so he's unable to stop the Trish here. It's actually interesting because, like, if you were to think about it in hindsight, you know, apart from drawing into potential Kaijus or something off the Librarians, the only out really for Synchro Fusionists would be like Baxia, get negated, and then make Trish afterwards, or do it in the other order or something, obviously. So yeah, it's actually kind of hard to like play through even just one simple Crystal Wing, because you can't actually, like, nothing in the Synchro Fusionist deck is big enough to attack over it, unless of course you're you're siding into more stuff that deals with like things like I said, like earlier, you can side into things like Scrap Dragons, Black Rose, all these different things. So there's actually not too many synchros that could just punch over a Crystal Wing. Maybe like make like a Quasar, for example. You can actually just like side that going second. But yeah, mostly you just rely on effects to get over things like Scrap Dragon, Yazi, Trish, of course, especially being like, you know, big Trish, non-targeted banish, not even once per turn, desynchro, bring him out again, etc, etc. Is desynchro quick play, actually, thinking about it? I know defusion is quick play. I wonder if they made desynchro quick play. I don't think it is for some reason. That would have been interesting if that card was a quick play. I'm just hitting blunt right now, sorry. But yeah, we're deep into this turn here. We've got, what's that on the field? Charge Warrior, Yazi, Trishula. Oh, and he's left arming for E-Telly here, not Soul Charge. He's going for that Recover. Recover is a funny card in this deck, because when you have 5 less cards on your opponent than your extra deck, you can special it for 2000 life points. I just think that's a hilarious graveyard effect, like, because the fact that you are supposed to just constantly spit out all these synchros, like move after move, that it actually does become relevant. And yeah, it's such a cool tuner to have in this deck. Pretty staple. I just thought that the effect was hilarious, the fact that you needed less extra deck monsters than your opponent. It's actually because like the Synchro Fusionist deck just has like so many cards in the extra, you actually need all of them. You need like your Librarian, Trish, Triple Omega, Baxia, Yazi, you need all these cards. Stardust Charge, like you need a 6 and it draws you cards. You need the formula, even 2, you need like Tatsunoko, I've seen some people play 2. I think the only like leeway that you have with the extra deck is like Ancient Fairy Dragon being potentially in place for a second Tatsunoko. I think, I'm not sure, but yeah, space is tight, but going second obviously that can change like, very drastically, like taking out things like Omega and stuff. Probably take out 1 formula as well potentially, stuff like that. But yeah, so Monarch's he's had his field cleared here. He activates Tenacity, reveals the Aether. He's thinking about Omegaing the Aether, because like apparently you need to like still have it revealed to resolve. It's actually a very interesting thing there. But yeah, he's on 2 cards. He's not gonna be able to play through this. So thanks everyone for watching. I'd love to hear your feedback on this video. So let me know what you think down below, and see you next time.